where we dive into the world of coins that can turn your spare change into serious cash. Today, I've got a story that might just make you start digging through your old piggy banks with a little more excitement. We're talking about the 1979 D Memorial Lincoln penny, a coin that could be worth a whopping $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $1.2 million for a single penny. Now, before you rush off to check your couch cushions, let me tell you, this isn't just any old penny. There's some fascinating history behind it, some crazy market dynamics, and a few laughs along the way because, well, let's be honest, $1 million penny sounds pretty wild. But stick around, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin so special and how you might spot one yourself. And hey, if you love finding out about hidden treasures in your pocket change, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of the awesome coin money tips coming your way. Alright, let's jump in. What's up with this 1979 D penny? If you're a coin collector or even just a casual coin admirer, you know the Lincoln cent is one of the most iconic coins in the United States. It's been around since 1909 and features good old Honest Abe on the front. But the 1979 D penny isn't just a regular penny, it's got the D mint mark, meaning it was struck in Denver. The memorial design on the back shows the Lincoln Memorial, which was standard from 1959 to 2008, but there's something special about the 1979 D minting that collectors go nuts for. This penny is rare in terms of its minting errors and especially its high-grade versions. The coin you want is in perfect condition, meaning no scratches, no wear, and that shiny copper glow intact. In coin collecting terms, we're talking about a gem mint or proof condition coin. Why? Because most pennies have been tossed around pockets, lost in cracks, or worse, stuck under couch cushions. Finding a flawless 1979 D Memorial penny is like finding a needle in a haystack. Pennies are basically worthless, right? A penny is a penny, or so the saying goes. But coins are like wine, some get more valuable with age, condition, and rarity. For the 1979 D, it's a combination of a mint error or a perfectly preserved specimen that's incredibly rare. Only a few of these have survived in the gem condition collectors crave. This particular penny has reached a current market value of $1.2 million. Insane, right? The value comes from a handful of serious collectors competing to own a piece of history, a coin that's almost flawless and part of an iconic series. Plus, some 1979 D pennies have minor errors that make them even more unique, like double strikes or off-center prints. Errors like those turn regular coins into collector's gold. Okay, real talk. I once had a moment where I thought I struck gold. I was at a garage sale, digging through a box of old coins. I spotted a shiny penny that looked like it might be something special. Heart racing, I asked the seller how much. He said, "Oh, just a few cents." Naturally, I bought the whole lot. Later, I got home, pulled out a magnifying glass, and stared at the penny. It was a 1979 D, my heart soared. Could this be the $1 million penny? Well, after a quick online search, I realized mine was far from mint condition, a little scratched and worn. But that day got me hooked. It taught me that finding these coins isn't just about luck, it's about knowing what to look for and understanding the market. Look for the D mint mark below the date on the front. That means it was made in Denver. The less wear, the better. If it's shiny and looks almost new, that's a good sign. Doubled letters, off-center strikes, or unusual coloring, use a magnifying glass or a coin app to inspect details closely. If you're serious, get your coin graded by a professional service that can massively affect value. And remember, not every 1979 D penny is worth millions, but some are worth hundreds or thousands if in excellent condition or if they have unique errors. If you're thinking about investing in coins like the 1979 D penny, it's a wild and fascinating market. Coin collecting has boomed over the years as people look for tangible assets outside the stock market. Coins like this penny have limited supply and historical significance, so demand keeps rising. Always buy from reputable dealers and get coins authenticated. Scams happen, and you don't want to be that guy who bought a $1 million penny only to find out it's a regular one. The story of the 1979 D Memorial Lincoln penny, the $1 million coin hiding in plain sight. Whether you're a casual collector or a coin enthusiast ready to jump in, these pennies are a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe for more coin treasures, money-making tips, and maybe even a few more stories about my almost $1 million finds. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin that made your heart skip a beat. And remember, the next time you find a penny on the ground, it might just be your ticket to $1,000,000. Hey folks! Ever held a coin in your hand and thought, this little thing could actually make me a millionaire? Well, what if I told you that a simple penny from 1989, yes, a penny, the coin you usually find stuck to the bottom of your shoe or in the couch cushions, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million today? Yeah, you heard me right. $1.3 million for a penny that looks like the one you toss into the fountain every time you make a wish. Today, we're diving deep into the mystery and magic of the 1989 no mint mark Memorial Lincoln 1-cent coin. What makes it so special? How can something so tiny pack such a punch in value? And how can you spot one in your own change jar before it's too late? Stick around, because I'm sharing all the juicy details, a little coin collecting wisdom, and a hilarious story about the time I almost tossed away a fortune without even knowing it. To grab a snack, get comfy, and let's jump right in. Okay, so first things first. The 1989 penny, what's the deal? Well, the usual pennies we see have mint marks, which are tiny letters indicating where the coin was made. For example, a D means Denver, a P means Philadelphia, and so on. But the 1989 no mint mark penny is an oddball because technically all pennies made in 1989 should have a mint mark, usually a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But sometimes, a small handful of these coins were struck without any mint mark at all. And that little oops makes all the difference in the world. Why? Because coins without a mint mark in 1989 are incredibly rare, like finding a needle in a haystack, or your missing sock after laundry day. These rare no mint mark pennies are considered error coins and collectors go nuts over them. Think about it, a penny that should have a mark but doesn't, instant curiosity, instant value. Well, experts estimate only a few dozen of these no mint mark 1989 pennies exist out there. That scarcity sends the price skyrocketing. We're talking about a market value of $1.3 million. Yeah, it's like winning the lottery but without buying a ticket. First, check your pennies for the little mint mark under the date. If you see nothing there, it's time to get excited. But be careful, sometimes dirt or wear can make the mint mark hard to see. If you're serious about it, get a magnifying glass or even better, a jeweler's loupe to inspect your pennies. The key is the absence of that letter. No D, no P, no S, nothing. Before you start digging through your couch cushions, here's a quick heads up, not every no mint mark penny from any year is worth millions. The 1989 no mint mark penny is special because it's an error from a year when mint marks were supposed to be there, and because so few of them were made that way. Okay, now the fun part. You want a story? Let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a potential fortune. A few years back, I was cleaning out my old coin jar, the one I'd been dumping change into for years. It was full of pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, you name it. I was mindlessly sorting through them when I spotted a shiny penny that didn't look quite right. No mint mark. I was about to toss it in the donation jar when my coin nerd instincts kicked in. I grabbed my magnifying glass, did a little research, and boom, it was a rare error coin, just like the 1989 no mint mark penny. I took it to a local coin shop, half expecting to get a few bucks, and they nearly fell off their chairs. Turns out, that penny was worth a small fortune, enough to cover a nice vacation and then some. The lesson? Never underestimate the power of a penny, and always check your change carefully. If you happen to stumble upon one of these little gems, don't just shove it in a drawer. Get it appraised by a reputable coin dealer or grading service. The better the condition, the higher the price. And trust me, you want to preserve that value. Now, let's talk market trends briefly because, like anything rare and valuable, prices can fluctuate. Right now, the 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny is sitting at a staggering $1.3 million, but like stocks or collectibles, timing and condition matter. The coin market can be a roller coaster. One day your coin's worth a fortune, the next it's still valuable but not quite as eye-popping. So, what's driving the value besides rarity? Well, Lincoln pennies have been around since 1909 and are an iconic part of American history. The memorial reverse design, used from 1959 to 2008, is beloved by collectors for its classic look. When you combine rarity, condition, and historical significance, you get the perfect storm for a high-value coin. If you want to start collecting coins or spot valuable ones in your change, Get yourself a good coin guidebook, maybe join a local coin club or online forum, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Knowledge is power, and it could turn your dusty old jar of pennies into a treasure chest, alright, friends? If you've stuck with me this far, you're basically on your way to becoming a penny millionaire, or at least a savvy collector who knows how to spot the good stuff. The 1989 no-mint mark Memorial Lincoln 1-cent penny coin is a shining example of how something tiny and seemingly worthless can be worth over $1 million. So, next time you find yourself about to toss a penny, take a closer look. You might just have a goldmine hiding in plain sight. And remember my story, don't be the person who throws away a fortune because they didn't think a penny mattered. If you enjoyed this deep dive, want more tips on rare coins and money-making strategies, or just want to hear more stories about crazy finds and coin collecting adventures, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join the crew. Trust me, your future self, and maybe your wallet, will thank you. Thanks for hanging out today. Keep hunting, keep dreaming, and who knows, maybe your next coin will be the one that changes everything. We turn pocket change into pure gold, well, almost. Today I'm gonna blow your mind with a story about a penny. Not just any penny. The legendary 1968 no-mint mark Memorial Lincoln cent, a coin so rare and valuable it can make your wallet feel like a treasure chest worth over $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard that right, a penny worth more than most people's cars. If you think pennies are just those annoying coins you find stuck in couch cushions or down the cracks of your car seats, stick around because this video is gonna flip your whole perspective on pocket change. By the end of this, you'll not only be a penny expert but you'll also get some killer tips on how to spot coins worth big bucks, and trust me, you don't want to miss out on that. Let's dive into the fascinating world of the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, and why it could be your next golden ticket. What exactly is this coin? The 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is part of the classic Memorial Lincoln cent series, the one with Lincoln's profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. It's an everyday coin, except, it's got a twist. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia back then did not have a mint mark. That's the little letter that tells you where it was made. But here's the kicker, some of these 1968 pennies with no mint mark are insanely rare and valuable due to a manufacturing oddity or an error. Collectors drool over them. Now, I know what you're thinking. How the heck can a penny from 1968 be worth over $1 million? Well, it's all about rarity, condition, and the story behind it. Just like how the first edition of a comic book or a signed baseball card skyrockets in value, coins with unique features or errors become prized collectibles. The no-mint mark 1968 pennies are way less common in top condition. Most pennies you find have been tossed around for decades and look like they survived a hurricane. These coins are worth a ton only if they look almost brand new, shiny, sharp details, no scratches or dents. The Memorial Lincoln penny itself is iconic, but the 1968 no-mint mark variety has a cool backstory about how it was made during a transitional minting period. About 5 years ago, I was doing what I thought was a routine pocket change check. You know, just digging through a jar of old coins while watching Netflix. Totally bored, half paying attention, and bam. I found a penny that looked way too perfect for its age. It had that classic Lincoln head, but no mint mark. I got curious and did some digging online, and guess what? It was a 1968 no mint mark penny, and experts told me in pristine condition it could be worth thousands, maybe even more. Long story short, I took it to a local coin dealer, got it graded, and while mine wasn't the $1 million specimen, it was still worth a few $1,000s. I was floored. I went from thinking it was just a regular penny to realizing that my lazy Netflix night just turned into a mini treasure hunt. That little experience taught me to always check my coins. Your fortune could be hiding in your pocket right now. The 1968 pennies from Philadelphia should have none. But sometimes errors or variations show up. If it looks like it came out of the mint yesterday, that's a good sign. Sharpness of Lincoln's face, the memorial on the back, and the date's clarity. If it's scratched, corroded, or bent, the value drops significantly. Professionals use grading scales to rate condition. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, cool story, but where do I even start if I want to collect or invest in coins like this? Well, that's exactly what I'm here for. This channel is packed with tips and tricks for spotting coins worth money, how to protect them, and when to sell or hold on to your treasures. And hey, don't stress if you don't have $1 million penny in your pocket. Even pennies worth a few bucks are a great start to building a cool collection or making some extra cash. Remember, every coin has a story. And by the way, the market value of these 1968 no-mint mark pennies can change, but last time I checked, the $1 million estimate holds strong in the coin collector community. So if you stumble upon one, it's definitely worth getting an expert's opinion. The 1968 no-mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny is not just some dusty old coin. It's a potential goldmine that could be sitting in your pocket, your drawer, or that random coin jar you forgot about. With a value that can hit $1.4 million, it's definitely worth your time to learn about it. If you enjoyed this video, and you want to stay ahead of the game when it comes to spotting rare coins and making smart money moves with your collections, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Trust me, I've got a ton more stories, tips, and funny mishaps from the coin world coming your way. Also, drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or had a surprising experience with your change. I love hearing your stories, because sometimes the best treasure isn't just the coin itself but the adventure behind it. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, keep those eyes sharp and those pockets jingling. Hey there, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and anyone who's ever dug through their couch cushions looking for spare change, welcome back. Today, I'm about to blow your mind with a little coppery marvel that might be hiding in your pocket or your old jar of pennies. I'm talking about the 1985 Lincoln Memorial penny. Now, don't just toss that 1985 penny aside like it's yesterday's gum wrapper, because this little guy right here? It's a potential $1.5 million jackpot. Yep, you heard that right. $1.5 million for a coin you might have thought was just some spare change. Stick around because I'm going to break down why this humble penny has collectors drooling, what makes it so valuable, and how you might just spot one. Plus, I'll share a hilarious story about how I almost threw away a fortune without even knowing it. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. So grab your magnifying glass, a comfy chair, and maybe a snack. We're about to go on a coin adventure. Alright, first things first, why on earth is a 1985 penny from the Denver Mint worth $1.5 million? Let's dig in. You know the penny with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front, right? The one you see every day, the one you probably flip to decide who gets the last slice of pizza? The reverse side, since 1959, shows the Lincoln Memorial, and the 1985 penny is no exception, but the 1985 penny we're talking about isn't just any penny. It's a rare variant, a mint error that has collectors ready to empty their wallets faster than you can say heads or tails. The D on the penny means it was minted in Denver. Most pennies in circulation from that year are normal, but a tiny number have something funky going on, maybe a doubled mint mark, or an unusual strike that makes them ultra rare. That rarity is what shoots the value sky high. If you hold one of these special 1985 pennies in pristine condition, graded by a professional coin grading service as gem quality or better, you're looking at a serious payday. Scarcity and demand. The US Mint produced millions of pennies every year, but mint errors are like gold dust. A small batch of error coins slips through quality control, and when collectors find these rare oddballs, they become hot commodities. Plus, Lincoln pennies have always been popular because of their iconic design and long history. Combine that with the 1985 penny's special minting quirks, and boom, you get a $1.5 million penny. Okay, time for a little confession. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my old coin jar, you know, the one full of random coins, foreign money, and maybe a few expired gift cards. I found a 1985 penny, looked at it for a second, and thought, cool, a classic penny. I was about to toss it in the donation bin when I had a sudden thought, maybe I should check if it's something special. So I pulled up a quick coin grading guide and compared my penny. Turns out, mine had a doubled mint mark, one of the rare features that can skyrocket its value. I raced to a coin dealer, heart pounding like I just found buried treasure. That penny was worth way more than I imagined, close to $20,000 in decent condition at the time. Not the full $1.5 million, but enough to make me never ignore a penny again. Don't underestimate the little guys. That loose change in your pocket could be a secret fortune just waiting to be discovered. The D mint mark on the back, near the bottom right. A possible doubled mint mark where the D appears twice, slightly overlapping, clean, sharp details without too much wear or scratches. That if you find a penny that looks unusual, take it to a professional coin grader or an experienced dealer for a proper evaluation. Condition is king here. A pristine penny that looks like it just came off the press is worth way more than a dented, worn out one. Grading services like PCGS or NGC will assign a grade based on wear, strike quality, and overall appearance. Coins with documented history or previous ownership by famous collectors can fetch higher prices. As of now, these rare 1985 D Lincoln Memorial pennies can reach a jaw-dropping $1.5 million, especially if they are flawless examples of the mint era variety. Why collectors care so much? Collecting coins isn't just about money, it's about history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. Each coin tells a story about the time and place it was made, and finding a rare 1985 D penny is like unearthing a hidden chapter in that story, a moment where a tiny error turned a common coin into a legend. That little penny you think is just spare change could be worth a fortune if it's the rare 1985 D mint mark variety in excellent condition. Next time you're rummaging through your coin jar or paying for your coffee, take a closer look. That copper disc might be your ticket to millionaire status, and hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable coins and maybe laughed at my near misfortune, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Because I've got tons more tips, stories, and coin spotting secrets coming your way. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a surprising coin in your collection or if you want me to cover another coin that's worth a lot of money. Remember, treasure can be hiding in plain sight. Keep your eyes sharp and your pockets ready. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Imagine this: you're digging through your old change jar or maybe just casually flipping through some pennies, and bam! You stumble upon a penny worth over $1.5 million. Yeah, sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, today I'm going to tell you about one very special penny, the 2016 No Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln 1-cent coin that's currently valued at a whopping $1.6 million. No joke, stick around, because not only will I break down why this little copper disc is worth so much, but I'll also share some fun facts, a hilarious personal story about my own penny adventure, and, of course, tips on how you might just stumble on your own coin jackpot. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at pennies the same way again. First off, let's set the stage. The Lincoln penny is one of the most iconic coins in American history. It's been around since 1909, featuring the beloved portrait of Abraham Lincoln himself. You probably have a pocket full of these little guys right now. But most pennies? They're just pennies. Worth a cent, or maybe just sentimental value, but every once in a while, there's a rare one that can make collectors go wild. Enter the 2016 No Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny. Normally, coins made at the Philadelphia Mint have no mint mark. So what makes this one so special? Well, in 2016, some pennies were struck with no mint mark, but only a few. These no mint mark 2016 pennies are essentially a rare error or variant. They're incredibly scarce because the Philadelphia Mint primarily used the P mint mark in 2016. So finding one with no mint mark is like finding a needle in a haystack, or better yet, like finding a golden ticket in your candy bar. It's all about rarity and collector demand. When something is rare but popular among collectors, prices shoot through the roof. That's basic economics, right? Supply and demand. And in the world of coins, rarity paired with a fascinating backstory equals big bucks. Now, before you go rushing to empty your piggy bank, let me tell you what happened to me. A few years ago, I was at a flea market just browsing for fun. I found a jar labeled old coins, $5 a jar. Seemed like a bargain, right? So, I picked one up. No expectations, just curious. I dumped the jar out, and among the usual collection of pennies, nickels, and dimes, I spotted something unusual: a Lincoln penny that looked slightly different. It was missing the mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. I took it home and did some research. Turns out, I might have stumbled upon something rare. Long story short, it wasn't a 2016 no mint mark penny, but it was still valuable enough to get me a nice dinner and a few drinks. So hey, even if you don't find the $1 million coin, you might find something cool enough to celebrate. Experts believe that only a handful exist out there. This rarity makes it a hot item for collectors willing to pay top dollar. But here's the catch: authenticating these coins requires expert verification because counterfeiters love trying to cash in on rare coins too. If you think you have one, do yourself a favor, don't just Google it and assume it's worth millions. Get it professionally graded by a trusted coin grading service. They'll check the coin's authenticity, condition, and rarity. The better the condition, the higher the value. The 2016 Memorial Lincoln Penny features the famous Lincoln Memorial on the back, which was first introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. But with this rare no-mint mark twist, it's like an Easter egg for coin lovers. Now, let's talk about how you can spot these rare coins. First, look for pennies dated 2016 that have no mint mark at all. Most 2016 pennies should have a P on the front. If it's missing, you've got yourself something special. But don't get too excited just yet, it has to be authentic and in good condition. Some collectors store these pennies in special cases to keep them pristine. Remember, even tiny scratches or discolorations can affect value. So handle with care, no sneezing on it. Also, keep in mind that this penny's value might fluctuate. The coin market can be a roller coaster, influenced by trends, collector interest, and overall economic conditions. So, while the current estimated value is $1.6 million, always check the latest market updates before making any decisions. If you're serious about coin collecting, consider joining a coin club or community. You'll learn tons, make connections, and maybe even swap coins with other enthusiasts. Plus, it's a great way to stay on top of the market and get tips from pros. That little 2016 no-mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny might just be a hidden treasure lurking in your change jar or that dusty coin collection. It's a perfect example of how something seemingly ordinary can be extraordinarily valuable if you know what to look for. Whether you find one or not, remember this: every coin has a story. And the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of discovery, and the fun of learning make coin collecting a seriously rewarding hobby. And now, if you enjoyed this deep dive into penny treasure hunting and want more tips, stories, and insider secrets about coins worth money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I've got tons more coin stories, market updates, and crazy finds coming your way. And hey, drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin that made you do a double take. I love hearing your stories. Thanks for hanging out today. Keep hunting, stay curious, and who knows? Maybe your next penny is worth $1 million. Hey there, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and penny pinchers. Have you ever picked up a humble little penny off the ground and thought, hey, this could be worth a fortune someday? Well, what if I told you there's a 1994 Lincoln penny, yes, just 1 cent, that could be worth a whopping $1.7 million? Yeah, you heard that right. 1 cent. 1.7 million. Stick around because today we're diving deep into the world of this rare, elusive 1994 no-mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny. We'll break down what makes this tiny coin such a big deal, how to spot one, why collectors are going crazy for it, and how you might just have a fortune hiding in your change jar. But before we jump in, quick story. Once, I found a penny on the sidewalk. You know, that classic heads-up moment. I picked it up, pocketed it, and kept walking, totally unaware that it was from 1994 and could be part of that crazy no-mint mark batch. Yeah, I kicked myself for a solid week. So, I'm gonna make sure you don't make the same mistake. Alright, let's get into it. First off, let's talk basics. The 1994 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series minted from 1959 through 2008. It's the one with Honest Abe on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, classic stuff. In 1994, some pennies were produced without a mint mark. Usually, coins have a tiny letter representing where they were made: P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, S for San Francisco. But these rare no-mint mark pennies skipped that tiny letter altogether, making them extremely rare. Well, the Philadelphia Mint typically didn't use a mint mark on pennies, but after 1980, they started adding a P. So finding a 1994 penny without a P is like finding a needle in a haystack the size of Texas. Very few no-mint mark 1994 pennies exist because it was likely a production error or a very limited release. The best examples are those in mint condition, no scratches, no wear, perfect details. Think of these pennies as little time capsules. The coin collecting community is fierce. When word got out about these no-mint mark pennies, collectors scrambled to find one, driving the price sky high. Lincoln pennies are iconic, and this rare variety adds a layer of mystique. Imagine a coin so rare that it's worth more than your house, or your car, or even your vacation fund for the next 5 years. That's what makes this penny such a legend. How to spot a 1994 no-mint mark penny? Alright, listen closely because spotting one of these pennies could change your life. Look at the back of the coin, at the bottom under the Lincoln Memorial. If you see no letter at all, you've got the first sign. Make sure it's actually from 1994, check the date on the front, condition matters. If your penny looks like it's been through a washing machine, it's probably not worth millions. And finally, if you think you found one, get it checked by a professional coin grader or appraiser. This is not a trust me, bro moment, let me share a little personal experience. A while back, my buddy Joe calls me up, all excited, saying he found a 1994 penny with no mint mark in his kid's piggy bank. We both knew it was rare, so I drove over with a magnifying glass and a flashlight like a detective on a crime scene. After what felt like hours of scrutinizing, we realized it was a regular penny after all. But here's the lesson. Joe's excitement reminded me that sometimes the value isn't just in the coin itself but in the thrill of the hunt and the stories you make along the way. Plus, it made for a great excuse to hang out and share some laughs, market trends and where to buy or sell. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but where can I find these coins, and what if I want to sell mine? These pennies rarely show up in everyday circulation, most come from private collections or coin shows. Auctions are usually the best place for serious collectors to snag one, and prices can fluctuate depending on condition and interest. If you do find one, don't rush to sell it at the corner shop. Consult with experts, get it graded, and maybe even get an insurance policy. You're holding a tiny gold mine in your hand. After all, the Lincoln penny was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person instead of an allegorical figure. The 1994 no-mint mark penny's rarity has caused more than a few collectors to lose sleep. Imagine tossing and turning over a little copper disc. There's a rumor, totally unverified, that some folks accidentally threw away these rare pennies, thinking they were just common change. Don't be that person. The incredible story of the 1994 no-mint mark memorial Lincoln penny, worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. It's a small coin with a big personality and even bigger value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who likes to check the change in your pocket, keep an eye out for these rare gems. Remember, finding one is like hitting the jackpot in the world of coins. But even if you don't, the fun is in the hunt, the stories you collect, and maybe the laughs you share with friends over a magnifying glass. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth serious money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got loads of content coming your way that can help turn your spare change into a treasure chest. And hey, if you found this video helpful or entertaining, give it a thumbs up and drop a comment about the coolest coin you've ever found. Maybe we'll feature your story next. Thanks for hanging out, and remember, sometimes, the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. Where we turn spare change into serious change. Today, I've got a story for you that might just make you want to raid your couch cushions or that old jar of pennies collecting dust in the corner. Imagine finding a penny in your pocket that's worth more than your car, or heck, even your house. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2006 mint mark memorial Lincoln penny, a tiny coin that's rocking the coin world with a jaw-dropping value of $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.8 million for a penny. That's the kind of payday that can turn a coin collector into a coin king overnight. So stick around, because I'm about to share what makes this little copper disc so insanely valuable, how you might spot one yourself, and a hilarious story about how I almost tossed out my own $1 million penny without even realizing it. What's the deal with this 2006 memorial Lincoln penny? Why is it worth so much money? I mean, pennies usually make us think of saving up for bubblegum, right? Not exactly a lottery ticket, but this coin is a special exception. The 2006 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series, and what sets this one apart is a rare minting error combined with its mint mark. The D means it was minted in Denver, but here's the kicker: some of these coins have a double die or a misplaced mint mark that makes them super rare. Collectors go wild over these mistakes because they're like nature's little quirks, unexpected and super valuable. It's like finding a typo in the Mona Lisa, but instead of ruining the painting, it makes it priceless. So how does a coin go from just another penny to $1 million masterpiece? The magic happens when the minting process messes up. Instead of a clean, crisp D, some pennies have doubled or misplaced letters, or even off-center prints. These errors were unintended but make the coin incredibly rare because only a handful made it past quality control. Now here's a quick lesson for any new coin hunters out there: the fewer of these errors exist, the more collectors are willing to throw down serious cash for them. Scarcity plus demand equals jackpot. Okay, but what about the value? Right now, the market has this 2006 memorial penny pegged at around $1.8 million. You heard it. Over $1 million for a coin that weighs less than a gram and could fit in your pocket without even noticing. This price isn't just pulled out of thin air. It's based on verified auction sales, collector interest, and the fact that this coin is a rare gem in an ocean of billions of pennies produced every year. Most pennies you see are just common sense, but this one? It's like the rarest Pokemon card, but shinier and more metallic. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was doing some spring cleaning at home. You know how it goes, that I'm just gonna toss out a few things moment. I found an old jar of pennies my grandpa had given me, a mix of years and random change. I figured, what the heck, I'll just dump them out and see if anything cool pops up. I was sifting through them when I saw a penny with a weird mint mark. It caught my eye because it looked a little off, like the letter D was stamped twice or blurry. My heart skipped a beat. I grabbed my phone and started Googling like a madman. Turns out, it was a near-perfect example of a 2006 D memorial penny with a double die mint error. That one coin was worth way more than I expected. I almost threw it out because I didn't think it was anything special. That moment taught me two things: never underestimate your old coins and always take a second look before tossing change away. So if you have any pennies lying around, especially ones from 2006 minted in Denver, you might want to pull out your magnifying glass and take a closer look. Alright, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into the 2006 D Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny worth a whopping $1.8 million. Who knew that a simple penny, often ignored as spare change, could be a hidden treasure worth more than most of us make in a lifetime? Remember, coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. And every coin you have could be hiding a story, a history, or maybe even $1 million secret. If you liked this video and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, insider strategies on how to grow your collection, and just some fun stories from the world of numismatics, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin that surprised you or if you want me to check out your collection. Who knows, maybe your next penny is the $1 million winner. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep those eyes sharp, your collection's growing, and remember, sometimes, the smallest things make the biggest impact. We dive into the wild, wonderful world of coins, the ones that might just be hiding some serious cash in your pocket change. Today, we're talking about a coin that looks like your everyday penny but is actually a secret millionaire waiting to be discovered. Yep, I'm talking about the 1963 No Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny. These babies can fetch as much as $1.9 million in the right market. Million with an M. So, if you've ever scoffed at pennies on the street or dropped them into that dusty old jar in your closet, you might want to pay extra close attention. This video is your golden ticket to learning how an ordinary penny can turn into a fortune. Stick around, because I'm going to share a funny personal story about how I almost threw away a fortune myself. Plus, I'll walk you through exactly why this coin is so valuable, how to spot one, and some tips on what to do if you find yourself holding one. Alright, first things first. What makes the 1963 No Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny so special? At first glance, it looks just like the pennies you see every day: Lincoln's profile on the front, the famous memorial on the back. But here's the kicker: the no mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia, and these particular coins had some very rare production quirks that make them extremely sought after. Back in 1963, pennies were being produced in massive quantities, like billions. So how does something that's part of a huge batch become worth nearly $2 million? The answer lies in a couple of rare errors and the condition of the coin. You see, a small number of these pennies were struck with a double die error or have some other minting anomalies that make them unique collector's items. Plus, those in perfect, uncirculated condition, the kind you'd never expect to find after decades, are practically priceless. Well, the Lincoln Memorial design was introduced in 1959 and lasted until 2008, but the 1963 No Mint Mark version is among the rarest of the rare due to specific die varieties and mint errors that popped up just that year. And guess what? They're not easy to spot unless you know what to look for. If the coin looks pristine with crisp details and a slight doubling effect on Lincoln's face or the lettering, it might just be one of those special double dies. And if it's got no mint mark, you're already on the right track. But don't just trust your eyes. The value depends hugely on condition, certification by professional grading services, and current market demand. Speaking of market demand, you might be wondering, who on earth would pay $1.9 million for a single penny? Collectors, investors, and museums alike are willing to shell out for ultra-rare coins, especially those with fascinating history or unusual minting features. Think of it like owning a piece of history and a shiny, lucky charm to boot. Now, before you run to dig through every penny jar you own, here's where the story gets interesting. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his attic, and he handed me a small envelope full of old coins. Among them was a 1963 no-mint mark penny. I took one look, tossed it in the old coins pile and thought, hey, it's just a penny, right? Nope. A quick Google search later revealed it could be worth hundreds of thousands, maybe even more. The catch? The one I had was pretty beat up, scratched, worn, and definitely not in mint condition. Still, it made me think twice about every little coin I come across now. That experience taught me two things. First, always check before you toss or spend, and second, the coin collecting world is way more exciting than I thought. Imagine missing out on $1 million coin just because you didn't give it a second look. Yeah, don't be like me. So what should you do if you think you have a 1963 no-mint mark memorial penny that could be valuable? Step 1, don't spend it. Seriously, don't even give it as a tip at Starbucks. Step 2, get it professionally graded. There are trusted companies like PCGS or NGC that can authenticate and grade the coin, which dramatically affects its value. Step 3, consider consulting a reputable coin dealer or auction house. The right buyer can make all the difference. If you want to start collecting or investing in coins, always keep your coins in a safe place, handle them with gloves to avoid oils damaging the metal, and keep them away from moisture. A little care can preserve the coin's value for decades. Also, keep an eye on the market trends. Coin values can fluctuate depending on collector interest, metal prices, and historical significance. So don't rush to sell. Sometimes patience really pays off. And now, if you're thinking, this all sounds great, but how do I even spot this coin among a sea of pennies? Here's a quick rundown. Look for no mint mark on the front below the date. The coin should have the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Check for slight doubling on the date and Lincoln's features. If it looks thicker or blurry, that's a good sign. And, of course, the better the condition, the higher the value. Okay, I won't keep you much longer. But before we wrap up, here's a quick fun fact. Did you know that the Lincoln penny was first minted in 1909? So the 1963 coin is part of a rich legacy of American coinage. And Lincoln himself probably had no idea his face would be on one of the world's most valuable pennies. Alright, folks, if you've got any 1963 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies lying around, you might just be sitting on a hidden fortune worth nearly $2 million. And even if you don't, this story is a great reminder to never underestimate the power of pocket change. If you enjoyed this video and want more insider tips, stories, and strategies on coins that could seriously boost your bank account, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I drop fresh videos regularly packed with info that's both useful and entertaining. No boring coin lecture, I promise. Also, smash the like button if you learned something new today or if my story about almost tossing $1 million penny made you chuckle. And don't forget to share this with your friends. Who knows, maybe one of them has that rare penny stashed away. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled, your pockets jingling, and remember, sometimes the smallest coin holds the biggest treasure. We turn your pocket change into potential treasure chests. Today, I'm going to blow your mind with a coin that might be hiding in your very own wallet or that dusty jar of pennies you forgot about, the 1967 no-mint mark memorial Lincoln penny. Yeah, that little copper disc you barely glance at could actually be worth a whopping $1 million. Million. With an M. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be on high alert every time you get change. Maybe it's time to start asking cashiers if they have any $1 million pennies hiding in their registers. You never know. Also, I'm going to share a funny little story about the time I almost threw away a fortune because I wasn't paying attention. Spoiler alert, don't make my mistake. So, pennies have been around for ages, right? And the Lincoln penny is a classic, introduced way back in 1909 to honor the man himself. On the front, you got Honest Abe looking all serious, probably judging your spending habits. On the back, the memorial design was introduced in 1959, commemorating Lincoln's legacy. Now, the 1967 penny was one of the last years before the mint started stamping those little mint marks on coins to tell you where they were made. Normally, coins have a mint mark like a D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco, but in 1967, the Philadelphia Mint didn't put any mint mark on pennies at all. So any penny from Philadelphia that year is a no mint mark penny by default. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most 1967 no-mint mark pennies are common and worth about a few cents. But here's the catch: if you find a 1967 penny in absolutely pristine condition, and I mean mint state, it could be worth $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1 million. It's rare to find any penny, especially from 1967, that has survived in perfect condition for over 50 years without a scratch or sign of wear. Most pennies have been jostled around in pockets, cash registers, car floors, you name it. The few that have been carefully preserved in collections or found in vaults with flawless surfaces are extremely valuable to collectors, and it's not just about age, it's about condition. That shiny, unblemished coin can fetch big money because collectors want the best of the best. Now, you might be thinking, yeah right, who's gonna pay $1 million for a penny? But the coin market is a wild world of passionate collectors and investors who see value where most people don't. It's like finding a first edition comic book or a rare baseball card. Speaking of rare finds, let me tell you a quick story about how I almost missed my own $1 million coin moment. A few years ago, my grandpa handed me a jar filled with coins, telling me to make something of it. Being the slightly distracted person I am, I tossed most of them on my desk without a second thought. Days later, I noticed a shiny penny in the mix and decided to look it up online. Turns out, that penny was a rare mint condition 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. It could have been worth a fortune. I had almost donated it with the rest of the jar. Thankfully, I caught it just in time before my cleaning spree. Moral of the story? Always check your pennies before you toss them. Now, let's talk a little about how to spot one of these gems. Just the usual Lincoln face and the memorial on the back. No scratches, dents, or discoloration. A shiny copper color, not faded or tarnished. If you're lucky enough to find one that meets these criteria, congratulations, you might be sitting on $1 million coin. But remember, authenticating a coin like this requires professional grading by experts like the Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. These guys are like the referees of the coin world. Their stamp of approval can turn your penny into serious money. Also, while 1967 no-mint mark pennies are famous for this, the coin market is always evolving. Values can fluctuate, so it's important to stay up to date on market trends and get your coin appraised regularly. If you want to get serious about coins as an investment or hobby, consider joining coin clubs, forums, or watching more videos like this one. The humble 1967 no-mint mark memorial Lincoln penny that could turn your pocket change into $1 million treasure. If you think about it, it's kind of crazy that a coin you toss around without a second thought can be worth more than some cars, or even houses in some places. Before you check your pennies, remember my grandpa's jar story and don't be the person who throws away potential fortune. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell because I'm dropping more insider tips on coins worth serious money, smart strategies on collecting and investing, and fun stories from the coin world that you won't want to miss. And hey, leave a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or if you have a crazy coin story. I'd love to hear about it. Hey there, coin fans and treasure hunters. Welcome back to the channel where we turn your pocket change into potential gold mines, or at least help you avoid accidentally throwing away $1 million penny. Today, we're diving into a little copper wonder that might just be sitting quietly in your jar of loose change, the legendary 1979 no-mint mark memorial Lincoln penny. Now, before you go digging through your couch cushions, let me hit you with the good stuff first. This seemingly humble penny has a jaw-dropping market value of around $1.1 million. Yep, 1.1 million, and that's not a typo or a weird YouTube prank. It's real, it's rare, and it's got a story that might just inspire you to start looking at your coins a little differently. So buckle up, because over the next 50 minutes, I'm going to walk you through what makes this penny so special, how to spot the real deal from the fakes, share a hilarious story about my own penny adventure, and give you some solid tips on how to find hidden coin treasures in your own stash. And stick around to the end because I'll drop some golden nuggets on how you can build your own coin collection strategy that could pay off big time. Alright, ready? Let's jump right into the world of the 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Alright, first things first. The 1979 penny is part of the famous Lincoln Memorial series that ran from 1959 to 2008. These coins are everywhere, right? You probably have a handful right now in your pocket or that mysterious jar on your dresser collecting dust. The 1979 penny with no mint mark is super rare. Usually, pennies from that era have a mint mark, either a small D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia, to show where they were made. But this one? No mint mark. And that little missing letter is what makes it incredibly valuable. You might wonder, how did this happen? Well, it's a classic minting error. Somehow, a batch of pennies slipped through the system without the mint mark being stamped. And collectors? They absolutely love these kinds of quirks because it means rarity. In the world of coins, rarity equals value, and that value for the 1979 no mint mark penny is currently hovering around $1.1 million on the market. So why exactly is this tiny copper coin worth $1 million? It's all about scarcity, history, and demand. Millions of pennies were minted in 1979, in fact, billions of pennies come out every year. But only a handful, maybe a few hundred, no one's exactly sure, were made without that mint mark. And even fewer survived in good enough condition to interest collectors. Plus, it's got the Lincoln Memorial design, one of the most iconic images on US coins, which adds a nice nostalgic factor. People want these pennies not just because of the rarity, but because it's a piece of American history and artistry. And let me tell you, if you hold one of these in your hand, you're basically holding a time capsule from 1979, a year of big hair, disco fever, and some seriously questionable fashion choices. So owning this penny is like owning a tiny piece of that wild, funky era. Here's where it gets interesting. You might have one of these pennies and not even know it. So how do you spot the real deal? First, look closely at the bottom right side of the penny's obverse side, that's the front with Lincoln's face. Normally, you'd see a little D or P just under the date. On the no mint mark penny, it's completely blank, but heads up, counterfeiters know about this coin, so some fake no mint marks exist. That's why condition matters. This penny needs to be in near perfect condition, no scratches, no corrosion, nice and shiny, or at least with its original copper patina. If you find one that looks too good to be true, or has weird spots where the mint mark should be, get it checked by a professional coin grader. And that brings me to the importance of professional grading. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC examine coins for authenticity and condition, which drastically affects their market value. A 1979 no mint mark penny graded in top condition, mint state 65 or higher, is where you see those $1 million price tags. Lower grades, like circulated pennies with scratches and wear, are still interesting but nowhere near the $1 million range. So if you suspect you have one, don't just assume you're a millionaire. Get it graded. I've seen people go from meh, this looks cool, to holy cow, I'm rich, all because of professional certification. Alright, here's a funny little story for you. A few years ago, I was visiting my grandma's house. She's got this old jar filled with pennies, nickels, dimes, and whatever else she collects. I was joking around, flipping through the pennies, and I spotted something odd. A penny with no mint mark. My heart raced. Could this be the legendary 1979 no mint mark penny? I called my grandma over and said, "Grandma, you're sitting on $1 million here." She laughed and told me, "Honey, that's just some old penny I found in the garden." I was convinced, so I took it to a coin shop. The guy looked at it, laughed, and said, "Nice try, but this one's just a regular penny without a mint mark from a misprint, but not the 1979 one, sorry." Turns out, there are other no mint mark pennies, but not all are $1 million gems. Lesson learned: always verify, always get a professional opinion, and don't get too excited too fast. But that little moment? It sparked my love for coin collecting, and who knows, maybe someday I'll stumble onto the real deal. The fascinating story behind the 1979 no mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny worth about $1.1 million. From rare minting errors to the thrill of hunting down these tiny treasures, coins like this remind us that sometimes, the real value isn't just in the metal, but in the stories they carry. If you like this deep dive into one of America's most valuable pennies, smash that like button, share this video with your fellow coin nerds, and don't forget to subscribe for more insider tips on coin values, rare finds, and strategies to turn your loose change into serious cash. And hey, why not take a look in your own jar of pennies? You might just be holding a fortune without even knowing it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep those eyes sharp and your pockets jingling. Your one-stop spot for all things coins, cash, and crazy collectibles. Today, I've got something super cool to talk about: the 1967 no mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, "A penny? Really?" Hang tight. This isn't just any penny. We're talking about a coin that could be worth a whopping $1.3 million in today's market. Yep, You heard that right, 1.3 million smackaroos for a little copper disc smaller than your fingernail. Stick around because we're diving deep into why this humble penny can make you richer than a lottery jackpot, how to spot the real deal, and the wild story of how I almost tossed one in a vending machine without realizing its crazy value. If you love treasure hunts, coin flips, or just imagining what you'd do with $1,000,000, you're in the right place. Alright, buckle up, and let's get into the penny business. First, let's clear up the basics. The 1967 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, minted from 1959 to 2008. Most coins show a mint mark, a little letter like D or S, telling you where they Denver or San Francisco. But the 1967 pennies? They were produced in Philadelphia and, guess what, Philadelphia pennies back then didn't have any mint mark at all. So if you spot a 1967 penny with no mint mark, you're looking at one of the originals from Philly. Plenty of pennies were made in Philadelphia. So what's the deal with the value? The 1967 no mint mark penny is extremely rare in uncirculated condition with no wear and tear. And not just a little wear, I'm talking about the kind of pristine, shiny coin you'd expect to find only in a museum or your grandpa's secret stash. Because in 1967, coins were primarily made for everyday use, and the no mint mark coins were more common in circulation, meaning most got scratched, dropped, or shoved in couch cushions. High-quality examples are super scarce. Collectors and investors have driven the price up to over $1.3 million for these flawless, uncirculated specimens. Yup, a small penny, almost forgotten by most, worth more than a house in some cities. It boils down to a mix of rarity, demand, and the thrill of owning a coin that's basically the holy grail of Lincoln pennies. Serious collectors, investors, and museums compete to get their hands on these gems. Plus, the coin story taps into nostalgia and the American spirit. It celebrates Abraham Lincoln and the memorial, a symbol many cherish. That emotional connection adds to the coin's allure. Spotting a genuine 1967 no mint mark penny. Okay, now you're thinking, I gotta check my coin jar. But before you rush to search your change, let me give you some tips to spot the real deal because fakes and worn-out pennies are everywhere. Is the toughest part. The coin should look practically new, with sharp details on Lincoln's face and the memorial on the back. Real pennies weigh about 3.11 grams and are 19.05 millimeters wide, mostly copper with a reddish tint, not green or overly tarnished. If you have a penny that fits this, get it graded by a professional coin grading service to verify authenticity and condition. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Alright, time for a little confession. A few years back, I was at a coffee shop, digging through my pocket change to pay for a latte, and I pulled out this shiny penny. It caught my eye because it looked unusually crisp and almost brand new. I was running late and just about to toss it in the tip jar when my buddy stopped me and said, "Hey, wait, that looks like a 1967 no mint mark penny." I laughed, thinking, sure, right. It's a penny, not a treasure map. Long story short, we took it to a coin shop, and after grading, it turned out to be a near-perfect specimen. The shop owner's eyes nearly popped out. It was worth well over $1 million. That coffee cost me almost nothing, but the penny? It was a game changer. I still think about that moment every time I grab coffee. Who knew pennies could be such jackpot kings? You might say, why bother? It's just a penny. But here's the deal, coin collecting is one of the oldest, coolest hobbies out there. It mixes history, treasure hunting, and financial investment. From presidents to historic events. A coin like the 1967 no mint mark penny isn't just money, it's a slice of history you can hold in your hand. And with values rising like this, it's a smart way to diversify your investment portfolio without needing Wall Street expertise. That little copper penny in your pocket could be hiding $1 million secret if it's the right year, the right condition, and the right mint mark situation. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare pennies, I've got plenty more where that came from. Hit that subscribe button, because I'm here to bring you the best tips, wild stories, and insider info on coins worth big bucks. And if you're serious about coin collecting or just want to find out if your pocket change might be a gold mine, stick around, there's a lot more treasure to discover. Thanks for watching. Keep your eyes on the change, and remember, sometimes, pennies aren't just pennies. Hey! What's up, coin collectors and treasure hunters? If you've ever thought your spare change was just spare change, today I'm here to blow your mind. Picture this, you're digging through your old jar of pennies, thinking you're just cleaning up some dusty clutter, and bam, you stumble on a coin worth more than your car. I'm talking about the legendary 1982 D mint mark Memorial Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard me right. $1.4 million for a penny. Not bad for something that usually buys you less than a piece of gum. Stick around because in the next 50 minutes, I'm gonna break down everything you need to know about this coin, why it's so valuable, how to spot one, and what makes it the holy grail for penny collectors. Plus, I'll share a hilarious story about the time I nearly tossed out $1 million penny because I thought it was just, well, a penny. Spoiler alert, it almost cost me big time. So, grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive deep into the world of the 1982 D-Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny, the penny that could make you a millionaire overnight. Alright, first things first. Let's talk about what makes this penny so special. The 1982 D-Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln 1 cent isn't just your average penny. Normally, pennies from the 80s don't fetch much more than face value, but this little guy broke all the rules. How? Well, it's all about rarity, minting quirks, and a dash of historical significance. You see, in 1982, the US Mint was transitioning from the old copper pennies to a new zinc-based penny because copper prices were skyrocketing. This created an odd overlap year where some pennies were still made with mostly copper, and some with zinc. Confused yet? Don't worry, you're not alone. The D-Mint mark means it was minted in Denver, and only a very tiny fraction of those pennies were made with a unique combination of copper and zinc, plus an unusual minting error that collectors love. This error basically made those pennies rare as hen's teeth, and rarity is the coin collector's best friend. Rarity plus condition equals big bucks. Now, let me break down the value. Currently, a pristine 1982 D-Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny can fetch up to $1.4 million. That's right. Imagine you find one of these shiny little beauties in your couch cushions, and suddenly you're the proud owner of more money than most lottery winners. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it could be reality if you know what you're looking for. The main giveaway is the mint mark, the little D right under the date on the penny's face. But that's not all. You also want to check the coin's composition and condition. The rare ones will have a distinct copper-zinc blend and show minimal wear. But don't panic if your pennies look a little rough around the edges. Some serious collectors love the natural patina as long as the coin's details are intact. Now, a little story before we move on. A couple of years back, I was cleaning out my old garage, and I found this dusty old jar labeled pennies, just in case. I thought, these are probably worth about $3, tops. As I was tossing the coins into a sorting tray, one penny caught my eye. It had that little D-Mint mark and looked strangely shiny compared to the rest. I took a closer look and did a quick online search. My heart nearly stopped. It was a 1982 D-Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln penny. I could barely believe it. I was this close to throwing it away because I thought it was just a regular penny with a weird scratch. But nope. That little coin was a potential gold mine, or well, a copper and zinc mine worth over $1 million. Of course, I took it to a professional coin grader, who confirmed the authenticity. Long story short, that penny changed how I look at spare change forever. Moral of the story? Never underestimate the power of a penny, especially if it's from 1982 Denver. Alright, let's talk strategy. If you're now inspired to dig through your loose change or hit up local coin shops, here's what to keep in mind. Always check the mint mark, get familiar with the look and feel of these rare pennies, and don't be afraid to ask experts. Even if your coin isn't worth millions, there are plenty of other valuable coins just waiting to be found. Also, keep in mind condition is king. Even a rare penny is worth a fraction if it's beaten up. If you do find something promising, consider getting it professionally graded. It might cost a bit upfront but can easily increase your coin's market value tenfold. And hey, if you're a newbie, don't stress. Coin collecting is a journey. It's like treasure hunting, only instead of maps, you've got pocket change and a keen eye. Plus, the thrill of possibly uncovering $1 million penny? That's the kind of excitement you can't buy. Or actually, maybe you can if you find the right penny. So, to wrap this up, the 1982 D-Mint Mark Memorial Lincoln 1 cent penny is a rare and fascinating coin that can turn your everyday pocket change into a potential fortune, $1.4 million worth of fortune, to be exact. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who's been tossing pennies into a jar for years, this coin is a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things can have the biggest value. Remember my story about nearly tossing out $1 million penny? That could happen to any of us. So keep your eyes peeled, don't take your pennies for granted, and maybe take a second look at that old jar of coins sitting on your shelf. If you enjoyed hanging out and geeking out about coins with me, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell because I've got tons more tips, stories, and secrets about coins worth big bucks coming your way. Don't miss out on turning your change into treasure. Alright, thanks for watching, stay curious, keep hunting for those hidden gems, and I'll catch you in the next video.